Well, brake caliper blues. Some day you are the windshield and some days you're the bug. Today, the Volvo S70, doing brakes, pushing the caliper in. It's like, I'm not real happy with the way that went in. I was just pressing the pistons back. And yeah, I'm old enough. I've rebuilt many a caliper in my day. And it's like, okay, well, maybe we'll get it, take a look, and maybe the piston will be okay. And maybe I've already had the rebuild kits for the calipers just to keep them around. But anyway, long story short, no. Piston right here, basically just pulled it off the vehicle. Everything was getting ready to bolt back on nice and smoothly. But the pads obviously didn't have enough gap, so it's like, uh-oh. I grabbed the C-clamp, put a little bit more pressure on it. No, that's not happening. So I brought it in here. This obviously was not a great sign. That doesn't in of itself mean anything, you know, horribly unrecoverable. But right here, this is what is unrecoverable. You see right there, this is plated. And then right here at this area here, it's not plated. So as you're pushing the piston in, this rust right here was gouging up into the seal and basically getting very, very difficult. Now there's a couple of different reasons why that's a big problem. One, obviously you've got brand new pads, you can't get them on. Well, that's kind of the smaller issue. If you manage to push this all the way back in, the piston is retracted by a couple of things. Well, there is no spring. The only spring you get is the seal inside of here has a little bit of rebound to it. All right? So if you push the piston out, the seal's got just a little bit of rebound, and you only need enough to clear the brake rotor and the pads. So if you push this all the way in and rammed it in there, it might apply okay. Where your problem will come is it won't come off. So then you'll wind up with a smoking hulk of brake, and yeah, you basically screw yourself over. So from this one, new pair of calipers. If one side's bad, the other side is too. Now let's get into what caused it. Well, the brake fluid didn't really mean to do it, but it's just a function of life. So this piston is garbage. Used to, you could order a piston and redo it, because if you look inside the caliper, hold on one second here, inside the caliper, it looks fine. There's nothing really evil going on. Now usually you'll wind up with a little piece of rust at the very, very bottom. No, it's actually, this caliper would be very rebuildable. Do you think those guys rebuilding calipers are in it just for the fun? No, these things survive pretty well. If they need to, they can hone it out real quick, knock a couple of little pieces of rust off, but by and large, I played the odds. I lost. Where's that piston out? Yeah, it's like, oh, rust. No. Okay. Obviously, I've got a new brake line on. We talked about that the other day. We did it with the control arms, but new brake line was in place, getting ready to rock. Here's a shop tip for you. You know the little rubber plug that you put on the brake bleeder screw that's supposed to be there that you may lose? Well, in the event that you're doing what I'm doing, you're changing a brake line, it is a perfect fit to go over the end of the brake line and stop that constant drip. It's not the fact that you drip some brake fluid, it's the fact that brake fluid gets absolutely everywhere, eats paint, and it's a nasty substance. So peel that off if you have one. If you don't, you can order them, but have them on your caliper, because it keeps moisture from going down inside the bleeder screw and causing it to rust at the very tip. Second of all, you've got this other little option you can do with it. Will it stop the drip? No, but it will certainly slow it down to a reasonable facsimile of control. So just a quick tip on brakes overall. We've freshly turned the rotor. These slotted drilled things were what was on here. I didn't spend the extra money for it, but they're there. One of the things that was interesting is these slots were all packed full. So that may not look great right now, but that is absolutely chiseled out, and there's actually a groove now. Before there really wasn't. And I'm proud to say that was all done on the old AMCO brake lathe that we fixed. And it's working fine. It's already paid for itself many times over and just truing up some rotors and cleaning them up. But this one, I'm pretty sure the caliper stuck, and it really got hot on the pad on the inside. You can see the rotor, I mean, it's not totally goofed, and it's still fine spec wise, but we did clean it up, and it was proudly done on the old junk we pulled out of the garbage AMCO brake lathe and fixed the feed. So that's working well. We're finishing up on the engine. I didn't film it, but we did go ahead and do a timing belt and a water pump. There's new belt, new everything. We're right in the middle of a flush right now. The timing belt, let's go right over here. There's the timing belt. Yeah, not today, not tomorrow, but when we least expect it, yeah, it's gone. Accessory drive belt. This is okay. Okay, a little cracking. That's okay. That's not okay. Cracking is fine. When you're throwing hunks out, that's another one. So it's back to the order board. Order some more parts, and this is going to be one very fine Volvo S70 when I'm all done. But as of right now, it's just nickel and diming us, but it's a good car. It's well worth it. But it's just, you know, a little this, a little of that. So we'll bring you back next time.